Do you know how a tiny bird can fly thousands of miles across the ocean at night and always find its way back home? Or how a simple plant rooted in the ground can sense the Earth's invisible magnetic field to decide when to grow or flower? For a long time, scientists thought biology was just about big, classical things like cells and chemical reactions. But a new field called quantum biology is showing us that life might actually be working like a high-tech quantum computer. To understand this, we have to look at the world of the very small, the world of atoms and subatomic particles. Usually we think of quantum physics as something that only happens in cold, empty space or inside a lab. But it turns out the warm, wet interior of a living cell might be the perfect place for quantum tricks. This idea was first made popular by the famous physicist Erwin Schrödinger. In his 1944 book, What is Life?, he suggested that the rules of life could only be explained by quantum mechanical stability. One of the biggest mysteries in this field is magnetoreception. This is the ability of living things to detect and respond to the Earth's magnetic field. Even though this field is incredibly weak, weaker than a refrigerator magnet, many animals and plants can feel it. Scientists believe they do this using a protein called cryptochrome, which is found in the eyes of birds and in many plants like Arabidopsis thaliana, the thalicress. When blue light hits these cryptochrome proteins, it triggers a fast jump of an electron. This creates something called a radical pair. These are two molecules that each have an unpaired electron. These electrons are quantum entangled, which means their states are linked together instantly, no matter how far apart they are. Imagine two twins. If one feels a pinch, the other one knows it immediately. These electrons also have a property called spin. They can be in a singlet state or a triplet state. The Earth's magnetic field affects how these states switch back and forth. By sensing these changes, a bird or a plant can see the magnetic field lines. This is called the radical pair mechanism, RPM. There is a conventional version that happens in the light and an alternative version that might even happen in the dark during a process called reoxidation. But there are other ideas too. One is the level crossing mechanism, LCM. This theory says that magnetic fields influence the energy levels of molecules directly. Think of a train station where the station master, the magnetic field, switches the tracks so that different trains or energy levels move side by side or cross over each other. Some experiments show that plants can respond to magnetic fields even when there is no light, which supports this LCM theory. Another model involves a protein complex called matter. This theory suggests that living things have tiny crystals of a magnetic mineral called magnetite. These crystals act like a molecular compass needle, physically rotating to align with the Earth's field and pulling on the cell to send a signal. Some researchers think matter and cryptochrome might even work together, combining light sensing with magnetic pulling. Plants are particularly interesting because they are sensitive lab models. Scientists found that magnetic fields can change how fast seeds germinate and how long their stems grow. It can even affect their circadian rhythms, which are the internal clocks that tell a plant when it's day or night. By studying these effects, we are learning how life has evolved to use every force available to survive. Quantum biology doesn't stop at magnetoreception, it also explains how plants eat sunlight. During photosynthesis, energy is moved from the leaf surface to a reaction center with nearly 100% efficiency. For a long time, we thought the energy just hopped randomly from one molecule to another, but we now know the energy travels as a wave. This wave-like quantum coherence allows the energy to sample every possible path at the same time and pick the fastest one. Then there is the CSS effect, or chiral-induced spin selectivity. Many biological molecules like DNA and proteins are chiral, meaning they are shaped like a corkscrew or a helix. When electrons pass through these helical shapes, the molecules act like a filter that only lets through electrons with a certain spin. This helps electrons move over long distances very quickly with very little energy loss. It's another reason why biological processes are so efficient. Quantum effects also happen inside our DNA. Sometimes protons can tunnel through energy barriers that they shouldn't be able to cross. This proton tunneling can move atoms around and cause spontaneous mutations. This means that the very building blocks of our genes are subject to the weirdness of the quantum world, which could be a driving force for evolution. Even enzymes, the tiny machines that run every reaction in your body, use quantum tricks. They use a process called hydrogen tunneling to move atoms during chemical reactions. Instead of pushing a heavy ball over a hill, the enzyme allows the atom to simply teleport through the hill. This makes life's chemistry much faster than it would be otherwise. One of the biggest challenges for this whole field is decoherence. This is when the environment bumps into a quantum state and breaks it, turning it back into normal classical physics. Because living cells are warm and busy, quantum states should disappear in a tiny fraction of a second. However, nature has found clever ways to protect these states, like using the protein's shape as a bumper or a shield. The future of this research is incredibly exciting. If we can master the quantum secrets of plants and birds, we could build artificial photosynthesis systems to create clean energy. We could design new spintronic computers that use electron spin instead of just electricity, making them much more powerful and efficient. We are even seeing new medical tools like quantum biosensors that can see inside single cells to detect diseases like cancer earlier than ever before. In the end, quantum biology shows us that life is far more complex and beautiful than we ever imagined. We are not just a collection of chemicals, we are quantum machines that have spent billions of years learning how to dance with the laws of the universe. As we continue to unravel these mysteries, we may finally find the answer to that age-old question, what is life?